Okay, quick video, guys. I still got a leak. I made a video the other day, but I didn't post it because I changed my mind. This is leaking again. I don't know if I mentioned that again, but it's kind of hard to see up in there. Maybe it's not even really worth me trying to get any type of focus, but I don't think it's leaking from the main seal because there's no oil on the flex plate or converter, really. It's so hard to see, I apologize, but if you can see the crank hub up there, in between the thin flex plate and the edge of the block, it's just barely shiny. Like there's a tiny little bit of oil on it. But what was happening is it was dripping off here. The back of this wasn't wet, but all the 4 bolts in the back were wet. And I think it was running down the edge of the block over there, the blue part, and then inside the bell housing and dripping off here. I think that's what's going on, but it is fairly substantial. What's gonna happen now is I'm gonna take this pan out, which is kind of a pain in the ass, but it's not too bad, and ditch the windage tray. Because with this deep pan, you don't really need a windage tray. It pulls the oil so far down away from the crank. It's like a good, maybe 3 inches more away from the crank than factory. And I've been told by multiple people who do way better shit than me that you don't really have to do that. That you don't need a windage tray and shit like this. But I'm gonna take time to review the Mancini oil rail strengthening pieces. This is a really good idea. Except the problem is I've already straightened this out some. And you can probably see that it's still got a few bends to it. It needs to be made out of fucking spring steel instead of this solder or whatever type of cheap ass Chinese steel they're making this out of. It isn't strong enough. Even this thing bends with only 15 pounds of torque, 15 pounds of foot-pounds of torque wrench application. These things bend because obviously they're thinner. There's barely any metal there. It needs to be spring steel, not soft ass mild steel. Super mild. I mean, really, really mild. It bends. Yeah, I can literally push on this and bend it by hand. I'm gonna have to straighten these out as good as I can. You might be able to see that's got a little bend to it. And I fixed this one too. Obviously those 2 gaskets are making it very mushy and able to bend these things. But they're not strong enough. They need to be made of better material. But with that said, I still think it's a good idea. It'd be better if it was 1 piece, or maybe 1 piece with a slot cut in it so you could put on a pickup, or just better material with more of a flange out beyond the ends too, because what'll happen with that, it's like a lever and they tip when you tighten out the outside ones. They'll pull down like that, kind of exasperating the problem. Exacerbating, not exasperating. But yeah, I think it's just a pan leak. I got an old Cork Velcro because I've never had problems with these. This actually feels maybe a hair thinner than they used to. I wouldn't doubt it. But I've never had these leak on me. They work really good. I don't know if it's just the way I apply them, but the ones that are black fiber, rubberized fiber gaskets, they leak on me all the time. I don't know if it's me, something I'm doing wrong. I don't know, but we're gonna see how it works in this setup. And my one friggin' transmission line is always got a drip on it. I don't fucking know why. Anyway, yeah, that's where I'm at with this. Everything else seems pretty good. Got to do a little carb adjusting, and I think I'm gonna go with a different distributor. The MSD Pro billet is just not adjustable enough for a street application. I need something with vacuum advance, and that, if you know anything about the fire cores, they don't use a bushing that limits your advance to the bushing, to your mechanical, because you're stuck into whatever you can get with a bushing. I need something that's more infinite so I can get down to 4 or 3 degrees, because this engine likes a lot of initial timing. And it also needs an adjustable vacuum pod, so I can mess with that. I think once you do that, it'll really livens up these street engines. If you're into street engines with high performance cams, old style without fuel injection, you need to really study your timing. Because I think the vacuum advance went away because people saw drag racers not using it. And they said, well, if it's good enough for them, it's good enough for me on the street. But On the street, your timing is where it's at. You really need to mess with your timing to get it right. And that's where the real Christmas comes in handy, or it comes from, is the timing. Okay, I gotta get back to work. Later.